Okay, today, I'm gonna be, making a sequel to the greatest, story video of all time. So, my longtime viewers, might know, about the I Almost Died video. So, if you saw that, yeah, it was pretty cringy. I don't know, man. But, I recently made that private, and I just wanna make a better one. Okay, so I'm gonna be starting that story right now. Okay, so back in 2014, I lived in a place in Pennsylvania. I'm not gonna say what it's called, but it was pretty good. Walk around like a couple yards to my friend's house, knock at their door, they'd come out. But I went to school, as you do, and there was this kid. I don't know, man. He had like some sort of like afro, and he was like a blonde-haired kid with an afro. Looked kind of weird. I don't really remember his name. Not to judge this kid, but the afro didn't really fit him. He kind of looked like some, outcast kid. But anyway, so this kid always had a bike. He always rode around with a bike. And we recently moved in 2014, and I left my bike over at my old house. And since I didn't have my bike, we recently got a scooter. Those little razor scooters, you probably had one. And, it was good. It was good. We were riding around. I was riding around on my scooter. He was riding around on his bike. You know. And then there was this hill. This big hill, And then we'd like race down. We'd race down. I'd race with my scooter. He'd race with his bike. But this one time, oh man, it's crazy, man. This one time, we rode down the hill, and this kid, he wanted to taste some blood, He was out. He was thirsty for blood, man. I was going down the hill with my scooter, man, and he like rammed into me with his bike, man, knocked me over, practically killed me, on the inside and the outside. Yeah, but I was bleeding, both my legs were broken, my arms were broken, my collarbone was practically like broken in half, It was crazy, man. I didn't know how I'd recover from that. But, he, like, ran away. I think he, like, actually, like, rode me over a couple times. He, like, went back up the hill, ran over me, went back up the hill, ran me over, a couple, like, 10 times. And, that's when my brother came out, right? And he, like, started, kicking me, Started kicking me, picked me up, threw me on the ground, kicked me to the curb, kicked what was left of my brain out of my head, My eyes were, like, bulging out of my head, man. It was crazy, man. Then my sister came out, she started kicking me to the curb, too, with my brother ganging up on me. It was crazy, man. And, like, that's when this kid came out, man. Then he started kicking me to the curb. So I had 3 people, 2 of my siblings, one random kid, started kicking me to the curb. It was crazy, man. I was like dead, but that's when the ambulance came. Somebody must have called the ambulance. And that's when the ambulance, they came, they rode over to my body. Then they went, I guess they didn't see me, or maybe they did this on purpose, but they ran my head over with the front tire of the ambulance, man. Like, crushed my skull, turned me, like my skull was, like, flat, looked like a pancake, man. Then, oh, man, they had to get, like, this, hand pump, stuck it into my ear, man. They started pumping my head back up. Looked like, got like a huge head, man. Looked like a balloon, balloon head. That's what they called me, after that. But yeah, usually I don't recover from those things, but I actually made a good recovery, went back home, tripped a couple times, broke one of my ears. I don't really know how I was walking, if my legs were broken, but, if there's a will, there's a way. But I made it over to my house, right? and that's when I realized, oh, I dropped my key. I dropped my key to the house, and my siblings obviously weren't gonna help me out because they were kicking me to the curb earlier. But I got up. I was like, oh, I don't even know what I was doing. I was kind of like crawling with my chest, if that makes any sense. I was kind of like slithering like a snake, across like the blacktop, the pavement, so I was slithering over to the site where I had been pummeled, practically killed, forgotten by the world, And then there were my keys right there, right? And then that weird blonde afro kid came over, picked up the keys, picked me up by my neck, shoved the keys in the back of my head, man. Blood was gushing out everywhere. The blood that was left from my body, like barely any blood was left in my body, but a bunch of it was like bleeding out, man. It was crazy. Then he eventually just shoved the key in my head, man. Said, okay, you could go home now. So yeah, that's what I did. I went home, put the key into the socket, the keyhole of the door, got in my house. It was a 2-story building. I walked up the stairs. I don't really know how, but just deal with it. I walked up the stairs with my magically intact legs. I tried to open the door to my room, and then, whoops, it's locked. And that's where I put my back against the door, put my magically intact hands up against my eyes, and started crying, It's just like cried myself to sleep, I died that day. That was the day I died. I didn't almost die that day. That was the day I actually died. Horse just fell over in my house. Oh, that was really loud. That really wasn't that loud, but, yeah, I'm still alive somehow, even though I'm dead. But, Ocean Man came over to rescue me. Ocean Man picked me up, put me back on my feet, magically intact feet, and said, "You'll do good, kid." And then he punched me in the face, knocked me out, grabbed my head, smashed me against my sink, and then left me there to rot. And basically, that's how I lived to tell the story of me dying. So hope you enjoyed that. And if you did enjoy that, like, subscribe, share this video with your dad. I know he's a good guy. I like your dad. He's a real nice person. And I just wanna get this video out to him, So basically, that's all I'm trying to say, Just wanna get your dad this video, because I know he likes curb stomping videos. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Hope you enjoyed.